Conference. All right, let's get it.
DC, Maryland, Virginia, what's up? All right, we here. Look, first and foremost, shout out to Made in the DMV. I mean, it's special conferences like this that just make DC what it is, make Maryland what it is, make Virginia what it is. There's no place like this cluster right here, so we gotta stay together. The Massivos King Flexer, representing DTLR Radio Forever, Combs Enterprises, Morgan State University, Beer Pride. Any beers in here? I know we in HU land. I know where we at. Trust me, I know where we at, but Beer Pride Forever. So I'll pass it on to Quick.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon. My name is Quicksilver. I have a syndicated radio show. I own now 2 DJ schools, one in Baltimore, one in DC. I own a nightclub in Baltimore called Club Downtown. Can I plug something out here? I got 2 TV shows coming up this year. I'm gonna give y'all exclusive. I'm on a show called Love and Marriage DC with my wife Ashley. We premiere on Oprah's own network Saturday, May 14th, 9 p.m. But I'm gonna give y'all the exclusive that I haven't said on the radio or anything yet. So if Bacon said this is an exclusive that nobody might, like, a lot of people know about the Love and Marriage show because I've been talking about it on Instagram. But this is exclusive. Where you at, Bird? I'm giving you the exclusive. I have my own documentary called Who is Quicksilver, and Netflix just picked it up, and I'll come on Netflix in November. So thank you. And I'm really excited because I feel like, a lot of people know the name Quicksilver from radio, TV, whatever it is. But a lot of people don't know anything about me. So, like, I feel like once you, like, see my docuseries, you're going to be like, damn, I had no idea. Like, this guy done been shot, this guy done been stabbed, this guy done lost his mom at 10, lost his dad at 18, didn't go to college. Like, it's so many things that I just never talk about because I never was a person that wanted to open up. But as I was filming my docuseries, it really was therapy for me because a lot of these things, this is my first time like saying to a person like, this is why I'm the way I am, because I've been traumatized. And I think a lot of us, we always looked at mental illness as, oh, he just crazy, or she just that way. But then when you find out people's backstories, then it starts to make sense. So I'm not going to get too emotional with y'all now, but I really can't wait for y'all to see my docuseries. But thank you. Check me out every day on the radio, 3 to 7.
I always hate following up things like that because I don't have a docu-series yet, but I'm going to work on one now. The bar is set. I'm Little Bacon Bear. You might know me from the airways on 93.9 WKYS Air Horns. Honey. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's me. I'm on this panel, I guess, to be a little feminine balance. I'm a DJ and a host. And yeah, Air Horns.
Yo, my name is Anwar Kong. Used to be a photographer in the city. Like back in the day, I had this website called Elite DC Mag. We like ran the city, like as far as like nightlife stuff for like 7 years. Now I run this brand called Movement. Y'all probably seen it around. I got a smart car outside. Take a picture of my car, please. Post it on the gram. And the Movement, that's just what I do, man.
Yo, how we doing, everybody? Good afternoon. I go by the name of Pedro Knight. I represent Montgomery Village, Central America, and Adobo DMV. That's why I'm here today. My main mission is to unite the Black community with Central Americans, South Americans, the Caribbeans, and Africans through Adobo DMV, through our platform, and through the power of music. Yeah, thank y'all for coming today. Looking forward to speaking with y'all.
I'm Jerome Baker. I'm a DJ. That's all.
Hey, Darling Nikki, though. One time for Darling Nikki.
He's way more than just a DJ. He's got an amazing party called Darling Nikki every other Wednesday at Capo.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm not a talker. I don't talk. You know that.
No, neither am I. So it's crazy that I'm the moderator.
I'm DJ, quick to talk on the mic, Fletcher. You know.
Friends, how many of us have?
So let's get straight to it. I mean, this is the first time I'm seeing some of y'all in a very long time. Obviously, we had a little bit of a break with the pandemic. How did that affect you guys? Obviously, in the pockets, we didn't make the same money, but from the mental side, you know, during the pandemic and then also coming back out of it, how was that transition for you? How did that affect you?
I could start because for me, you guys, people is everything to me. So when we had to quarantine and not be around the people that, you know, give us fuel and give us life on a regular basis, it really was messing with me like, okay, I got to do something. So that's where DC, A Chocolate City Story came from, where, you know, it really became something because of everybody that either was on it or supported it, watched it, everything like that. It just means everything to me. So the pandemic was a silver lining in my world.
Same thing for me. I feel like pre-pandemic, I was working for Pernod, and I was repping Martell, Avion, Jameson. I was like a brand rep for that company. So when the pandemic happened, the city shut down, obviously. So they, but before I started that job, I was kind of building this movement brand. And then when the pandemic happened, they basically fired the whole marketing team, because they felt like they didn't need a marketing team because everyone was at home. So that kind of gave me the freedom to kind of jump on the movement brand. And then when the doors was open, it was just a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So it was a silver lining in a way to it was like a reset. Like, I feel like 2020 was a hard reset, and everyone who was working or toiling, they're all flourishing right now. You know what I'm saying? Versus if you just sat down and was just chilling.
The crazy part, shout out to my partner Earl on my EO back there, and we were just like, it's an amazing question, because we were just talking about this on the way here. The pandemic was actually great to me. Like I've really made more money in the last 2 years than I probably made in my 25, 30 years of DJing. But I'm not saying that in a boastful way at all. But like I'm a hustler. Like, I know how to pivot, so I never stop DJing. So, my alias is the Party Kingpin. I've been DJing 7 nights a week, literally for the last 25 years. So when the pandemic happened and DC shut down, Miami and Texas, if y'all know, Florida and Texas never closed, right? So I literally, Earl will tell you, I DJ live on Sundays in Miami in a club called Chapman and Kirby in Houston. I was going to Miami and Houston every week. So I literally never stopped DJing. And then once other cities started opening back up, we had a game plan. One thing I always say is you have to plan your work, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? But then when you get a plan, you have to work your plan. So we literally, me, EO, and C's would sit down and be like, all right, what cities are opening quick? What promoters do we know there? And let's now start locking in dates. So I was, during the pandemic, still doing 3-4 parties every single day. And then because the supply and demand was there, my price went up. So then after that, DC opened back up, and I never slowed down. And then of course, the virtual space, shout out to my guy D-Nice, who really owned it. But I remember having a conversation with D-Nice. I said, I love what you're doing. I'm gonna do the same thing. Then I started branding things. Me and my wife started a thing called Quick and Ash After Dark every Wednesday. We ended up getting sponsors for that because we were consistent. Then I started Sunday Fun Day with Quicksilver from 3 to 4 on Instagram, because I was consistent, and it wasn't like I'm just gonna pop in. I started putting flyers up. So a lot of people, we have great ideas, but we don't market and promote them. I literally branded Quick and Ash After Dark. I literally branded Club Quicksilver, and then after that, sponsors started coming in. So I never really lost any money, anything. So maybe it was just me. I was blessed.
You certainly were. I mean, I think as a creative, on the ground, I think just even hearing from artists, they struggled during this time. Like, you really just had to figure out a way. If you didn't have a studio, for myself, trying to do radio from the house, I'm doing it in a closet with a microphone on the floor, talking to the DMV at the same time. So if you're fortunate to still have gigs, that's awesome, but you still have rent due, and there's no gigs because there's no clubs. So I think a lot of people just had to pivot, and it became a lot of that, and adapting some of those good ideas and putting them in motion with what you got and making do with what you got is kind of what it looks like.
I know, similar to Quick, Pedro and myself got involved with streaming on Twitch, and that was a whole different world, a different opportunity, a place that I never thought I would be, because I've been playing clubs for a while. But the virtual space is here. I mean, we all hear about it in different facets. But to be introduced on it probably 3 days a week, maybe 4 days a week, every week, like Quick said, staying consistent. I mean, it just changed my view of what we can do moving forward and how important having a presence in the virtual space will be. And like, it's a place where we all have to be. Like, it's not really an option. It's like you have to find your place there and make it work for you.
And real quick, to piggyback on what Jerome said, I'm going to cut you off. The virtual space became humongous. Like, and I hate to keep like name dropping, but what D Nice did, so y'all all know D Nice was a DJ way before the pandemic. I'm not sure how old y'all are, right? So this guy was Boogie Down Productions in the 70s and 80s. He was a rapper. My name is D Nice. So like, a lot of people, it's amazing over the last 2 years, like they just heard about this guy D Nice that's DJing the Grammys. I've known the guy for 25 plus years, and what he did, my principles are hard work, dedication, and consistency. A lot of people are dope, but you're just not consistent. So what D Nice said, he said, the day I went live, I literally DJ Quick for me. It was like 50 people. Then I just kept DJing. The guy went viral because he DJed literally for 2 days straight and didn't go to sleep. Most people would think he's crazy. And then the Obamas and the Rihannas, everybody started chiming in. And what he did, he said, Quick, I just never stopped. Even though people are back outside, he's still DJing virtually right now. If I told you how much money this guy makes, like virtually, it's millions. So like, if you're consistent, and please somebody write this down, if you do anything long enough, you become great at it. Anything. If you do anything long enough, if you don't listen to anything on any panel, just remember, Quicksilver said, if I do anything long enough, I become great at it. The problem is, most of us, we get complacent too fast. Or, as soon as we think we're consistent for a week, if we don't work, we give up. It's a proven fact that frustrated people quit. The difference with D Nice is, he didn't quit. The difference with the Bacon Bears and the Quicksilvers, we're not better than anybody else, we're just consistent. So what D Nice did, he took that virtual space, and this guy, like, you can probably Google it, so I ain't throwing him under the bus. He makes millions of dollars when he does Instagram Lives. That's why he does it every day. It went from just being a passion to now Instagram pays this guy. This guy DJed at the Grammys. This guy DJed at the Super Bowl. All off the pandemic. So when people say the pandemic was bad, D Nice would argue this has been the best 2 years of his life, because he was consistent. So remember that if you do anything long enough, you become great at it. Anything.
Yeah, so I definitely think that the virtual space, it definitely can't be ignored. It can't be understated. It's the way of the future. You know, with the way that things are going with NFTs, with the metaverse, it's inevitable. But I think for me personally, I can only speak for myself, but the pandemic was difficult. You know, as a DJ, as a person where music is a driving force in my life. And one of my favorite things about music is that it has the power and ability to bring people together, people from all different walks of life. And it's a real communal experience. One of my favorite aspects of DJing is that when I get to reciprocate the energy that the people, the crowd, the community is giving to me, when I'm able to give that right back to them in their face, that's one of my favorite parts about it. So when the pandemic took that away, you know, it hit me real hard. It was real difficult. But, you know, like Jerome, we were able to pivot to Twitch. And I was able to really lock in and not so much focus on the viewership, on the numbers, on, oh, how many people are following me. For me, I took it as like, oh, it's like, you know, almost like public practice. Like I'm in the gym, putting up shots, like trying, experimenting. It was like a live practice. So that's sort of what I focused on. And as an event organizer of Adobo DMV, before the pandemic, we were doing parties for about 500, 600 people at Big Chief, Hard Rock, all around the city, on a monthly consistent basis. And once the pandemic happened, we pretty much paused everything. We took a complete pause. We stopped all operations for damn near, 12, 13 months, something like that, until we came back at the Kennedy Center. And, you know, we came back intentionally. I know a lot of people, you know, they came right back into the swing of things, weekly parties, you know, doing things during the week. For us, we took a beat. Our first event back was July 27th, you know, so the city had been open for about 2 months beforehand. But, you know, we had the programming with UCB, with Gordo Brega in the building, with a bunch of local DMV acts trying to fuse Latin music with go-go and trying to make that happen at the Kennedy Center. So, you know, we came back in the same way, but it also has been a little bit uncertain. You know, there's been a lot of up and down since things opened up last year. Omicron came over December, January, February was almost wiped out, and we're just now sort of picking up the pieces. So I'm here with everybody, man. You know, it's been difficult, but you know, we're still standing, and you know, we still breathing, and we healthy. You know, so yeah, that's what it's all about.
Pedro for president, for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How about that? Thank you, Pedro.
So, real quick, a lot of y'all mentioned pandemic pivots. My bad, brother. Pandemic pivots, and you know, switching from one lane of this profession to a completely other, whether it's DJing in front of people, hosting in front of people, promoting for people, to now trying to drive people to these virtual spaces. Obviously, that takes a following to be able to drive that and be successful. So, with the hard work, dedication, and consistency you considered, you know, what are the steps that you took to build that following so that you could even make that pivot? And they actually say, you know what, I'm gonna come see Jerome on Twitch, I'm gonna see Bacon on YouTube, I'm gonna see Quick on IG Live. How did you build that following before the pandemic? And do you think that same method will work in this post-pandemic audience where people are been trapped in the house? Will they respond the same way and follow you?
I think for one, if it's genuine, yes. But I think that we really kind of like mess ourselves up by saying like, oh, the internet's not real. That's not real. Well, those are real people that are sitting behind the keyboard. And I think we see the power of the keyboard now at this point. You get the good and the bad of what people are thinking and feeling. And so you kind of, if you have an audience, say, of 200 people or 20 people, you know what they want from you. You continue to give them that content. You just have to find a lane in a space that has need. Same with the Twitch space. There's people that are sitting in their house on their phone. Well, how can you do that? I'm a DJ. Let me put myself in front of this camera and DJ for hours and hours and hours. And they'll pay me to do that because they're fans of my work. So, you know, just vision.
For me, before the pandemic, sometimes in nightlife, things are just, dap and keep it moving, dap. For me, it's always a personal touch, right? So when pandemic hit and I was like, all right, people is my thing, like, and that's what drives me. I said, and I'm not from here, and we know that the DMV has rightfully so a protection, because like there's no place in the world like the DMV area. So for me, I wanted to showcase my love and my appreciation for the city that embraced implant. Like, so I wanted to get influential people that are either from DC or they migrated just like myself, but more importantly, they have impact. One thing with coming to the DMV area, you have to bring value before you're really embraced, especially as like an out-of-towner. So for me, it was purpose that helped build my following, and everybody counted. If I had 5 people on one of those DC or Chocolate, it didn't matter. I entertained them and embraced them, and before you know it, built the community from 5 to 10 to 15 to the 100 chapter had our Mayor Bowser on it. So I couldn't even imagine, and I didn't make 1 cent off of directly DC or Chocolate City story. It's my purpose after the fact I got the phone ringing, because I was driven with purpose and not like, yo, when they gonna pay me? Like, where's my money? It wasn't about money, it was about purpose.
And I feel like I want to say ditto, because he's like literally he's in my brain, like, and I feel like I'm gonna say the same thing. If y'all know Quicksilver, I'm gonna repeat this and it might get repetitive. Consistency. Like, people don't get what consistency is. Like, consistency means to do something over and over again greatly over a period of time. Success takes time. Like, it bugs me out when like people compare to each other, and you compare a Bacon or a Quick or Anwar or somebody who's been consistent for 20 years, and then you gotta wait for a year, and now all of a sudden you don't understand why we don't make the same money. And what he just said was he never asked for $1 during Chocolate City. Here's another quote, and I'm gonna say a bunch of stuff if you want to put it down. I said if you do anything long enough, you become great at it, right? Here's what Flexer just said, and I'm gonna put it in my words. If you become yourself and make yourself the best version of yourself, eventually people will pay you just to be you. Like, that might have went over somebody here because you're on your phone scrolling. Like, people will pay you just to be you. And everything I say up here when I talk about money, it's not to brag or boast. I've never asked for a job in my life. I've never applied for radio. I've never filled out an application. I've never worked. I literally just made myself the best version of myself. I'm not better than Malcolm or Jerome or anybody, but I'm the best Quicksilver. Bacon can't out Quicksilver me. I can't be Bacon Bear. I can never be Malcolm Xavier. So when I made myself the best version of myself, people pay me just to be me. Does that make sense? Am I talking to myself? Like, that's what people don't get, is like, if you remain yourself long enough, I've been in DC now 20 plus years. I'm originally from Baltimore. I know y'all get my, we do, right? I remember coming to, and I don't mean to talk, if I talk too much, hey, cut me off, Malcolm. When I first came to DC, I'm not sure if y'all remember this. I came to DC in like 2001, 2002. I was on PGC at the time first, doing the 5 o'clock mix with her dad. Wow, Easy Street, that's crazy. Full circle moment there. And you know what everybody told me my first day on radio? Everybody, when I say everybody, the programmers, your father, Flex and Rico, your Quicksilver's not gonna work in DC. He talked funny. He wear big white tees. He got dreads, shorts. He on the radio talking about hot dog. You know how we do. He not gonna work. Literally, I was told I wasn't gonna work. 20 years later, I've been #1 on every radio show from PGC to KYS to morning, and now I have a syndicated radio show in 10 cities. Sometimes I want to go back 20 years ago and be like, what are all the people doing that told me I wasn't gonna work? Like, what are they doing now? But the difference was I never let it get to me. I just kept being consistent. I didn't come to DC trying to fake like, yo, hey Joe, and like I couldn't come in faking. I was just me. And then I figured out my niche. You know what my niche was? I figured out, and he keep using the term DMV. Shout out to Tony Lewis if he was here. He always say, quick, it's DMV and it's real DC. I'm not sure if anybody really from DC. I ain't talking Maryland and Virginia. I'm talking uptown, southeast. Nobody from DC says I'm from DMV. Am I right? I've never heard. DMV started when people from Maryland and Virginia who wanted to be all together, so they say it's DMV. And DC was like, nah, I ain't from no damn DMV. I'm from the city. So with that being said, what I figured out fast was I'm not from DC. Even though people in the rest of the world, because I've been here so long, people bug out when they see me on a Pepsi ad and it says Quicksilver DC. Baltimore, like, that nigga from East Baltimore, he lying. I say all that to say, my niche when I first came here, I figured out that 90% of the Washingtonians who listen to Go-Go, they were partying at the Go-Go's, and there were no Go-Go's when I came here in DC. They were all Temple Hills, the Legend, the Ascot. And then when I started DJing in downtown DC, I realized that 90% of the people were Quicksilver. They weren't from DC. At one point, DC was not partying in DC. It was all Maryland, Virginia. People who went to Howard, they moved here. So I remember DJing at Zanzibar, 2004. I remember like it was yesterday. And this was my turning point because up to then, everybody said Quicksilver not gonna work, right? I'm DJing at Zanzibar, live broadcast with our dad, Easy. Tigger was there. All the DC people were there, and they like, quick, I don't know, don't come on playing. I said, yeah, I'm gonna try something. And if this works, I promise you, I'm never leaving DC. So I told the program director at the time, I said, yo, I'm gonna actually get on the mic and diss DC. And he said, you better not do that in DC? You on Zanzibar? Boy, quick, you just got here. You gotta follow the rules. If anybody know me baking, do I follow any rules? Tell Quick not do something, I'm gonna do it. So I literally got on the mic. You know what it is, Quicksilver, we live on the PGC, blah, 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 blah. You know, anybody else from DC, make some noise. And it's like 1,000 people in there, maybe 100 people made noise. Because once again, DC was at the Go-Go's, they wasn't downtown. And I said, shh, if this works, I am going to take over this town and the clubs. I say, all right, shout out to DC. Then I get real loud. But anybody that's not from DC, make some noise. And the whole club erupted. And I realized, holy crap. Everybody in this club is from Maryland, DC. They went to Howard, New York. I said, that's my niche. I'm gonna come into the market and be the out-of-town DJ that parties for the out-of-towners. And then I just became consistent. And then over years, real Washingtonians started embracing me, not because of DJ Quicksilver, but because of my activism, because of how much I give back. When there's a march in Washington, I'm the keynote speaker. When your kid is having career day, Quicksilver's the speaker. When there's something going on that really matters in real life, I show up. So I didn't become just a DJ. And then over time with consistency, it works. So if you do anything long enough, you become great at it. And that's all I did.
So To piggyback on that real quick, because we got a couple people that aren't from DC proper on the panel. What was it like attacking, for everyone, you know, attacking this new market when you first got here versus like all these other markets that you probably came from?
I mean, I got here in 03. I graduated from Hampton University, moved up here. I'm really from Arizona, so DC was just a whole different experience for me. But it was like opportunity everywhere. Right, so I kind of started on U Street, playing bars and clubs down there, and just building in that community a lot more. Once I kind of got downtown, so to speak, or Quick was already the king down there. Again, more opportunity, more. Let me put my stamp on what I think downtown should look like. Right, let me start my own thing because I don't have the relationships, and that's been my thing, is being able to start my own thing and have my own ideas and believing in myself. And having people that say, you know what, we identify with what you're trying to do, so let's partner up together, let's work together. So, you know, like I said, I've been here since 03, and DC is just the playground, the opportunity, the fact that if you get out there and push yourself hard enough, you can make it work. To me, that's still very prevalent today, and it's the reason why I feel like I'm still here, and a lot of us in this room and on this panel are here as well, you know?
Well, for me, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Came out here in 2005 to go to Morgan State University, and once I realized that DC was just 30 minutes, 40 minutes down the, I would say, Turnpike, because that's the New York thing, but down the Parkway, I was like, there's no way our nation's capital right there, and I'm not gonna see what the vibe is and see how the people are. And the key with me was, I didn't come down with the typical New Yorker, we gonna take over. You know how New York can be. I know my people, trust me. I'm being honest, you know what I mean? Like, I was very big on, this is these folks' backyard. You got to come with a certain genuineship and a realness, and if they embrace you, they embrace you. If they don't, then you're not meant to be here. So I was traveling down for like DC Carnival, because I'm Jamaican too. Shout out to all my West Indians. DC Carnival, they need to bring it back too, by the way. Is it back? But we need to rally for that carnival, because that's a time and a half for real. I have Flex Rated TV, which was my YouTube channel that really kicked things off for me in Atlanta. In Miami, I was just traveling like hits from the streets and just getting content, creating show stuff on the spot. It was unscripted. So I came down to DC Carnival, did the same thing, did an episode, and I just started a host at certain clubs. Shout out to King Ivan, formerly known as DJ KI. We went to Morgan together. We were a tandem. He started to bring me down here during the Cafe Asia days, H2O days, Platinum days, Station 9 days. These are the vintage spots. And it wasn't about the money either. I was just tagging along with him and making my rounds. And before you know it, relationships built. Then I became the Ciroc ambassador, and then DC, a Chocolate City story. And now I'm back with Ciroc after a 10-month stint with the dark, but now we're back. Ciroc Spritz, by the way. Go ahead. Just a shameless plug. Ciroc Vodka Spritz. And yeah, that's my story. So that's how I came into the town and how I decided to move.
So real quick, when we're talking about nightlife in this area, there's generations that happen over time. Some people, like Jerome, you said you started in 03, Quick, you started around this 2000. Y'all have seen changes over time. I've only been DJing 7 years, and I've seen changes.
You said 7 years?
7 years.
It's like
20 years.
I'm on year 31.
Hey, look, time is not real. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of changes. DC changes every couple of years, and we see the scene change, we see venues change, we see the audience change. How does that affect how you attack the market? How does that affect how you play, how you host, how you promote the parties?
I think, so when I graduated from Morgan in 06, so I came back to DC. Well, I came to DC pretty much. I was working at BET. But the city at that time was, you had to wear like suits. You was at the club, you was at H2O, wherever you at. You know what I'm saying? You had your suits on, you had your hard bottoms, and then I'm gonna say like probably like 2007, you started seeing like sneakers in the club and like, you know what I'm saying, that type of thing. So like you always see the change every couple of years, just like it changes with what people drink. So back then it was like vodka, then people went dark, went to Hennessy, then they're in tequila now. Next they'll be back to vodka like next year or sometime, right? Or sometime this summer. Like
I promise you they are.
They're coming back. They just watch the change
the power
happen.
of marketing.
just watch the change happen. You know what I'm saying? Remember I said it. Like people's tastes always change after a couple of years. So, you know, now we're in a space where that people just want to have a good time. And, you know, like a couple years ago, pre-pandemic, it was like trap. Like Rose Bar, everything was just on fire. Now people just want to have a good time. They've been stuck in the house. They want to come out and they want to hear the best music. And you look at all streaming platforms, the best music, the most streamed music is old music. The new music is not getting as streamed as much as the old music. So people want to come out, they want to hear the old stuff. So for me, it was just like pre-pandemic 2019, I started this party. It was called the Basement R&B Party. And you know,
one of the best parties I DJ, I swear.
I feel like we were doing this basement spot and we were doing like 300-400 people. And the pandemic came, you know, pandemic ended, and our first one out, we did 1,000 people, and we've been doing 1,000 people every month since then. Last month we did 1,200 plus, and it's just like you could tell people want to have a good time. People want to have a good time, and people are bottled up. Adobo guys, like you go to their parties, people just want to have a good time. They're there having a good time. So that's a change that we're seeing right now. Just people just want to have a good time. And that changes how you market the events also. So now you want to market not more so pictures, more so videos, to show the experience so people know what they're coming with.
What you just said, adapt. Like, I feel like my answers be so cookie cutter, but people just like, they make things more difficult. The fun part about DJing or promoting or anything or rapping, I don't care what you are. Here's the fun part. Shout out to Monique. She known me since I was a kid. I remember like being at the record point. I think she told me this, and she's like, "Yo, quick, the music business is 10% music, 90% business, right?" So when people don't get that, like they don't get the business, and they become frustrated because they're dope artists and dope DJs, but they can't figure out why they're not connecting. And all I've done, so when I said the fun part is becoming hot, the fun part is getting the wave, the fun part is making money. Here's the hard part. Write this down again. The hard part is staying hot. The hard part is keeping money. Everybody in this room knows somebody that used to have money. Am I talking to myself again, Edward? Everybody in this room knows somebody that used to have the wave. And a lot of times, they get so caught up in their own stuff that they don't adapt to the times. People always like, how the hell? And I don't want to throw nobody, but I remember a DJ saying to me, "Quick, you need to retire." I'm like, "Retire? Like, I'm still on fire." He said, "No, because you're in the way. As long as you're number one, people they're not gonna let somebody else take the crown." And I've been looking like, I can't believe somebody actually thinks this way. Like, I'm not in Bacon's way. I'm not in your way, Malcolm. They figured out their own lane. All Quicksilver did was make myself the best version of myself and own my lane. So I say all this to say, all I've done every 3 to 5 years, because you gotta think, I'm on year 21 and being in DC 7 nights a week radio, right? Every 3 to 5 years, a new DJ got hot. Every 3 to 5 years. When I first came in, we ain't gonna say her name, but this DJ was the man. Then quick, you ain't gonna last. Then 3 years, he becomes, oh, he's done. Then this DJ becomes the wave. Then quick, I don't know, you get no. Then this DJ, every 3 to 5 years, it's been another DJ that you will argue he or she is the man or woman this year. But the difference is when he or she became hot, they got their little wave, Quicksilver never ever fell off your top 2 or 3. And all I did was adapt to the time. So I remember tweeting this, and Anwar texted me, you reposted it. I tweeted it maybe 4 or 5 years ago. If you're a DJ and all you can play is trap music, your time is short-lived. You won't be DJing long. If you're a DJ, because over the last 10 years, like you said, the clubs have been just about bottle service. Nobody really dances anymore. They just want to pop bottles and hear trap music. But then that shift started happening when people wanted to hear Afrobeat. People wanted to hear R&B. People wanted to hear Bad Bunny at your club after you played Future. Like, people wanted to really open their ears. And all I did was adapt and adjust. So in order to remain relevant and number one, you got to be consistent, but just adapt with the times.
I'm going to go to Jerome and I'm come right back to you, baby.
I was just going to say Joy Club.
Oh, yeah, Joy Club.
Shameless plug.
Joy Club, my first time DJing Joy Club, what did I tell you? I said, yo, I've been DJing forever. I said, this might have been the most fun I've had in a long time. because there is no playlist. There's nobody in my ear saying, quick.
But do you know why quick? Do you know why quick?
Play that Maybach 3 times.
Do you know we create the party we want to see? You create the experience that you want to see. And as a consumer, you need to go to the party that you want to have. You know, there's a lot of people that are standing still in the club when they want to be dancing. So why do you not go to the spot where there's people dancing? Or why don't you go to the club so you can stand there and look cool amongst other niggas? Like, that's okay. There's a lane for all of those things. And I think in all lanes of nightlife here, there's room for all of those things. In DC, I think right before the pandemic, we were at a perfect spot. Joy Club captured that. Pedro Adobo Party captured that. The movement, I haven't got over there yet. The basement is capturing that. But that's just the vision. You just got to go to the party that you want to see. But we're busy throwing the party that we want to see.
Shout out to Joy Club and Basement Party.
Joy Club.
2 of the best parties I've DJed in a long time.
You heard
Shout
it.
out to Joy Club, but I can't forget the OG, Rock Creek Social Club, Jerome Baker.
See, I wasn't old enough to get in yet.
Recess on a Tuesday. Still to my favorite party I've been to in DC. No offense, nobody else, not even my own. How did, like, taking that risk at that point in time, it was music was in a different space. The nightlife scene was in a completely different space, because that was the one party that Anwar was talking about. I didn't have to wear suit and tie, hard bottoms to get in. I would say you're part of the catalyst of that change. So what does that feel like now, kind of looking back and seeing like where the scene is versus when you started it?
I just realized that DC wasn't mono. It wasn't one thing. You didn't have to. We had a room full of black kids who were playing rock music. We're playing MGMT. We're playing Kate Trinata. We're still playing Future. We're playing Kingpin Slim. Like we took a chance on just playing everything, because downtown is where the equipment worked, right? U Street, the equipment didn't work, but you still had cool venues. You still doesn't work. But
Let's talk about it.
You have Marvin, and you had all those places. But then, like, you know, you go see Quick at like a Lotus or something like that. And like, I mean, this is, you know, 07, 09, 2010. And I just was like, I want to play everything. I want to play everything for people that look like me. We are not just one thing. I mean, Flex is from Baltimore. I would love to hear Dance My Pain Away. Brooklyn, he went to Morgan, I'm sorry. But I'd love to play Dance My Pain Away in DC, right? And just as people were dancing, they had a good time. They didn't care about people's differences and where they were from. So for us, it was always about just playing music for people that look like us in spaces, but we weren't the same. We didn't listen to the same thing. We all enjoyed everything. And that's my thing to this day. You know what I'm saying? And I still play. I mean, I was in the trap last night, you know, like, but
you were in the trap last night?
Yeah, but I'm going to play a reggae club at 9 and then I'm back in the trap. You know what I mean? So it's just like being consistent, like Quick said, being consistent, but consistently having an open mind and an open ear, working with different people, trying out different venues. It's nightlife. You're going to get done dirty, unfortunately, because that's part of the game sometimes. But learning how to bounce back, like Quick said, pivot. You know what I mean? Just having an open mind and just doing stuff like that was where we started. And we're going to, you know, we do Grilled Cheese Social next week. So.
Yeah, I mean, if I can cut in just real quick, I do want to say that for Adobo, at least, our strategy when it comes to marketing pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, it hasn't changed, because our mission at the end of the day is to unite the Central and South American communities with the Black community here in the DMV, with the African community, with the Caribbean community, and showing love to all these cultures under the same roof.
I don't want to even interrupt you, but if you guys have ever been on Instagram and seen somebody pouring adobo on a girl's back while they're dancing, that's his party. That's how lit that party is. Like, that is that type of party. I'm just giving texture and dimension to that party.
Hand clap.
People bring seasoning to pour it at that party. Like, come on. The adobo brand is held up by you right now.
So as a proud Meezy, as someone born and raised in Gaithersburg, Montgomery Village specifically.
Y'all don't have a sponsorship with Adobo? Y'all don't have a sponsorship with them?
Not with Goya, because they're white supremacists, but...
Okay.
I didn't want to tell him. I didn't want to tell him.
Day. But yeah, you know, coming from Montgomery Village, in our upbringing, it was super like hyper diverse, where that was when gentrification was, you know, first peeking its head out. So there was a lot of Section 8 housing in Montgomery Village, and you had a lot of folks from DC, you know, being pushed out to Gaithersburg, Germantown, Frederick, and whatnot. So you had a lot of Central American immigrants who came over in the 80s, Langley Park, PG County. They came up, you know, Gaithersburg, Germantown, same thing. So you just had this super mixing bowl of culture. And 6th, 7th grade, middle school, like my first times going out to parties in Montgomery Village, that was my first time hearing go-go. You know, that was my first time hearing Nuck If You Buck. That was my first time hearing reggaeton. That was my first time seeing people twerk, like ever. You know what I'm saying? So Adobo, that's where the roots are. The roots are in, you know, people from DC, people from Central America, South America, the Caribbean, Africa, all celebrating each other, all having a great time. You know, so we've just been consistent with that. I feel like that's the key word here, just consistency. And from 2018, we coming up on our 4th year now, but that's been the mission since day one, just trying to unite everybody. And I feel like right now it's more essential than ever before, because I really feel like politically, the only way that people of color, black, brown, anyone who's down is gonna win this country is if we come together. And I feel like the first step towards that unification, I feel like the first step can be on that dance floor, can be through, you know, eating pupusas, through seeing Latinos trying to beat their feet, you know, and failing. You know what I'm saying? But for me, that's what it's all about, because to me, that's the DMV authentic cultural experience. So we're just trying to cater to that, and we want to show that to the world.
Pedro for president.
Respect.
You see it.
I'm gonna ask one more question before we turn it to the crowd. Let's talk about a real serious topic, money. Because we can't pay our rent, businesses, car notes, anything, all vibes. One question I always get asked is, how do I value myself? And one question I want to ask you guys is, how do you deal when you know you're being undervalued or being underpaid? How do you handle that situation?
You pay.
I don't show up.
You pay, I was gonna say, you pay for the kind of experience that you want to see, and so oftentimes it's kind of crazy when a client cuts corners when they look at you at the end of the night like, "Why didn't you save us?" Well, because nigga, you could have just paid me the first time, but that's okay. You went with the route in which you could afford, and look what you got. So I'll see you next year, or see you next week, and whenever you want to correct that. So there's that. I value myself.
I said this once and I'll say it again. If you do anything long enough, you become great at it, right? And if you stay yourself long enough, eventually people will pay you just to be you. I've said that 100 times. I say all that to say I own a nightclub in Baltimore, Club downtown. And I remember when I first opened my club up, and I remember telling the GM at the time, I said, I'm gonna pay all my DJs starting $1,000. And I remember him looking like, are you crazy? DJs only make $200-300.
I'm available on Saturday nights if you're still doing that.
You know, that's easy work. That ain't about nothing. So listen, I literally said this, and I remember saying, that's crazy, DJs. I said, one, I'm a DJ who's opening a nightclub, so I gotta make the focus of this club about the DJ. So when he said the equipment don't work, I went out and literally spent so much money with lighting, with equipment, to make sure I had the best system, the best lights, because I wanted to bring that Miami, Vegas experience, because any DJ on this panel will tell you, when you DJing in a hole in the wall and the stuff don't work and your equipment cutting off, it's hard to catch a vibe. But when you DJing and there's a light man right here, and when I say black it out and lights go out, and then I got a person here dancing and the smoke go up, like, it makes you look like a better DJ. Am I lying? Like, when you go to Live or Miami or Vegas, some of these DJs aren't dope. It's the show that you in love with. You love that. Nigga, Live, when that confetti come out there, you feel like that confetti's for me, right? So when I said that, I said all my DJs started $1,000 because I want to make sure they realize that their value. And the first DJ I gave $1,000, they're like, quick, what is this? I said, this is your pay. He said, damn. I said, because I want you to realize the DJ can make or break the party. I don't care what the host, what theme, if the music whack, the party's whack. I don't care if Beyonce walk in. If the music whack, the party's whack. So how did I get to a point where I'm able to charge what I charge now? And I remember some DJs asked me, they're like, you're quick. And like, that's crazy, because you're a DJ at Park and I'll DJ at Park, and you'll make thousands of dollars in a night, and then the owner tell me, only give me 200. So, but what I said to him, you have to make yourself valuable. You can't just be a DJ. Jerome's not a DJ. He's a personality. He's a businessman. So when Quicksilver DJs, my new hashtag, if y'all follow me, is I don't DJ, I perform. I host my own mic. I don't want no hosts. I don't need no open DJ. I don't need anything. I'm my show, right? A lot of people kind of was offended by that, because I'm like, yo, just pay me and I'm gonna be the host, the DJ, the promoter. I'm gonna bring the artists because they all friends of mine from radio. So I got you on loud, right? And then I lost a lot of parties years ago, because I remember, and I hate talking money because I hate to sound like we boasting or something. I remember my fee. I remember when I first started DJing, and Malcolm knows this because like he's paid me before to do a party, right? When I first started DJing, my fee was like $250, and I remember like thinking like that's ridiculous. That's way too cheap. But this is 20 years ago. And I remember
this
my
is when
fee,
you had to carry crates and all that.
Then my fee went to $500 a party. And it's crazy when I found out that, and we ain't throwing them on the bus, there's still DJs today in 2022 that make $300-400 a party. And so I remember saying to EO, I said, yo, I want my fee to be $1,000. And this is like 10 years ago. This is when I'm doing like H2O and Ibiza. And I remember saying a lot of owners and promoters going to say, nah, quick, that's too much. I'm going to book another DJ, which they did. I lost parties for about a year, but I kept saying to myself, I know I'm the best version of me. So you don't have to book Quicksilver. Go ahead and put DJ such and such and DJ Kid for free, and who gives a put them in there, right? You'll see a difference. You'll see a difference. Now, if you're not as good as you think you are, it won't work. This won't work. This method won't work. If you're not dope, this method will not work. But if you know that you're dope, and you know for a fact what I bring, you got to put your foot down and say, yo, I want, now my, yo, this is my road manager, Earl. The booking we got yesterday is for how much and how long am I mixing? $10,000 for 2 hours. These are the bookers I get now. Like, I don't make hundreds of dollars. Like, I literally make $5,000. When I do live on Sunday, I mix 45 minutes for $5,000. When they book me for Preakness, I'm making $10,000 for a 15-minute set. So for me, it took for me, well, once again, it's consistency, but it took for me to say, yo, I'm not doing them parties. Right now, if I wanted to, I can DJ every party in DC. But promoters from all your favorite clubs, from Rosebud, they were like, quick, boy. They complain about it, but they'll pay me. But then they go, quick, killing the budget, killing the budget. As I became an owner, I realized how ridiculous it is when they say a DJ is killing the budget. So let's just take a club like Rosebud or St. or anything, right? It's 15 tables, 20 in some of these clubs, right? Each table minimum outside the promoter comp table is $1,000. Some of them are $2,000, $3,000 if the artist is there, right? So you tell me it's $15,000 generated around these 15 tables. The bar will make another $5,000. Now you're at $20,000. Your door is normally free, but let's just say you make $1,000. So you made $21,000. 21,000. These are real numbers. Now the Rose Bars they make 60, 70 grand. So if you mix a Rose Bar, you make 300, you're dumb. If you mix an Abigail, you make 400 or 500, you're dumb, because I know the numbers. You can't bullshit me because I own a club. So when they come to me be like, quick, I can't afford you, I'm like, yo, let's look at the numbers. Okay, so this club makes $50,000 a night. If Quicksilver says he wants $5,000, that's only 10%. Now if I say I want $1,000, that is 0.1.66. Y'all know the numbers? So how you telling Jerome Baker or Malcolm that your fee is too expensive? Because once again, if the music is whack, the party's whack. Now what the promoters do, they're gonna complain about your money. They're gonna complain if you don't play their favorite song and shout them out, because they all got egos. And then when the artists come in, you gotta make sure you play this song. So once again, to get that fee you want, you have to just say, I'm not gonna do it. That's literally what I did. I said, yo, I'm not doing no parties. I'm not there. And then I opened my own club. And then once again, diversifying your income. Unfortunately, some DJs can't do what Quicksilver did. And I always say what works for me might not work for you, because if you only DJ for a living, you need every dollar. Because once again, somebody said, we got bills. For me, I'm blessed. I make enough money from radio, TV, owning clubs, owning 2 DJ schools, wrestling leagues, that I can not DJ if I don't want, and I still pay my bills. So it was easier for me to say, you know what, I'm not doing no more than local parties for $300, $400. And once again, I ain't throwing no money on the bus. Anwar booked me for his R&B party. Anwar, when I told him my fee, he was like, quick, what? What? Am I lying?
It was real, but he told me his fee. I said, yo, I can't do that. Because when I reach out to a DJ, I'm gonna ask you your fee. If it's not within my budget, it's not within my budget. I'll find somebody else. That's cool. However, Quick was like, all right,
I want to do the party.
Yeah, he wanted to do the party. So he did the party. 1,000 people came. So of course I'm gonna pay him his regular fee. He said, yo, Anwar, what we do? I said, all right. I said, it's yours. The full fee is yours. I want to go back and forth with you right now. I know I had everybody singing, can we talk? And
So I say that to say, if you're as good as you think you are, a lot of us have egos, but our talent don't match the ego. If you're as good as you think you are, you know how good you are, and you can start your own events like they're doing, you have to be able to put your foot down and say, yo, I'm not, like, why would you give me $300 when I know for a fact this club made $50,000? Like, you're just not a business person, man or woman. I always say the music business is 10% music, 10% talent, 90% business. So let me say it again. When I said 10%, I said the 10% is the music, it's the talent. So put that in one. That's the 110. Right now I got my math good. You know, my money good, my math good. But seriously, the 90% is the business. That other 10 is talent, whatever. But if you don't get the business in, your talent, I don't care how dope you are. Like, you gotta be able to put your foot down and say, I'm not gonna do it. And that's how I got to the fee. Like, when I first came to DC, I'm like, yo, these guys in DC right now it's small clubs. Back then it was all mega clubs. H2O, Zanzibar, Fur, Love, Ibiza. All these clubs were doing 3,000-4,000 people 5 nights a week. And the DJs were making $300-400. I'm like, yo, this just, am I the only one that's crazy on this? And I remember going to Ibiza saying I want $2,000 a week, and the owner like, I don't know, but guess what? Because I'm so good at what I do, they paid it. So you got to demand it. It's like in a relationship. If you let somebody get over you, they're gonna do it. If you demand it and say, I'm gonna leave if Baker, babe, if you don't give me a hug right now, I'm leaving this room. But seriously, you got to demand that. And then if you don't, you got to be okay at walking out of here and saying, Bacon Bear said, you.
And all the DJs in here, put your hand in the air. I'm in the crowd. So, like, I think, you know, as someone who does events, I love what Quicksilver does, right? So you have to make yourself even more valuable than the next DJ. So if I'm going to book you, are you going to promote? Are you going to, what can you do to add value to the event, right? So what I like to do is, like, for some, I won't do this so quick because he already makes too much money, but, I'm joking. But for like some of the other DJs, I will give them a ticket link. So for you, if you're at a space where you can't afford, where you can't get $1,000 yet, then you need to show your value. Yo, I know it's a ticketed event. Can I get a custom link? I'm gonna promote. Can I get 10% of every table I sell? What can you do? You know what I'm saying? What can you do? How can you add value to someone who's like already investing so much money into this event? So you might do a New Year's Eve party, and that New Year's Eve party might cost you $30,000 to throw that New Year's Eve party. So all these, there's so many little numbers and stuff that goes underneath doing these events, and you don't want to like skip on a DJ. But if you tell me, yo, you're a DJ, all right, so New Year's Eve, for example, I have 4 DJs, and one of my DJs sold 4 tables. I gave him 10% of every table that he sold, and he sold about 20 or 30 tickets, and I gave him another 30% of every ticket he sold, plus his regular fee. So like, just think about, you know what I'm saying, the payout that he's going to get just because he went ham for the event. You know what I'm saying? And I know DJs always say they don't take requests, but this is one thing I believe in. Like, you can't tell me, like, I'm a marketer, right? So on your laptop, if you're at a party, it's 500 people in a party, you get yourself one of those phone numbers, 1-800 numbers that people could text you, and all you got to say is, yo, if you're in this party right now, text me a request or your shout outs. You don't got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you pick 1 or 2 people, but how many people are going to text you every night that's in your database? So when I come to you and say, yo, I want to book you for my event, you're going to say, yo, Anwar, yo, I got 4,000 people on my text list. I can hit them. They're going to buy. You know what I'm saying? You're adding value, and now your price could be more. So you got to figure out how you're going to get money. It's not just about, the $500. You know what I'm saying? So when I was a photographer back in the day, I used to come to the club, and all the promoters, they wanted their photos. There were other people out there that charged more for the photos, right? Charged more to take pictures. I came in, I said, yo, I'll do it for half what they do. But I started a website and put every single photo that I took on my website. Everyone had to log into my website to get their photo. I got Yo, in DC, I probably got 80,000 emails from people who ever partied in DC. But that makes you valuable. You need your data. So whatever you do, never forget about the data. It can't just be about the dollar. The dollar, you can spend that tomorrow. The data, you can keep spending that. That could last forever. When you decide to throw your own events, bet that's what you used to promote. You know what I'm saying? So think data, think long term. Don't think just about the dollar right now. That's my piece.
Yeah, man, and I'll say that Ann was one of the few promoters that's doing this on a large scale level, who appreciates and sees the value and respects the value of a good DJ, right? So for me and for at least my peers, I think probably everybody on this panel, we work with people who see that value. I feel like we're at this point. A lot of us DJs are at this point. I feel like a lot of people are in this room who are DJs. We're at this point where, if the establishment, if the management, if they don't see that value, if they don't respect that value, it's probably best to walk away, or, you could really try to educate them, get them to see, break it down like how Quick was talking about, this information, it's out there. It's readily available. You don't have to necessarily attain it through experience. A lot of it is, talking to people like us, talking to a lot of the DJs in the room, picking their brain and, being transparent, saying, this place is undercutting. This place on U Street is doing $150 a night for 6 hours. It's nasty work, but it's happening right now, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But at least for us DJs, there has to be some level of transparency, and, we got to be more honest with, what certain venues are providing, what they're offering, just so that we can try to bring the equity up for everybody, because that's what's important, because a lot of us are using DJing to maintain ourselves, to sustain ourselves, and to make a living off of.
All right, so Bird is giving...
Okay, just one last thing. There's a panel that is dedicated to DJing here in a little while, but I will say just holding your value is super important. We cannot undercut one another. If Quick says 5K, I could say 2K. I could say 4K, you know what I mean? Because the bar is set right there. But if we going for $50 for 5 hours, well, we doing it wrong.
So we all...
And when one person goes for that, they expect the world to go for that. And so you mess it up for the next guy and the next woman.
So we all agree the normal rate is $1,000. You understand that?
Whose is it?
I would say,
so if Quick is 10, we all want 1,000.
It depends on who you are for real.
It depends on who it is.
If you respect yourself as a DJ in the DMV, you shouldn't be DJing for less than the price of a bottle on the menu. Ooh. All right?
So like $400, give or take, just, like 2, 3, 4
to lead the house. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I think.
Can I get at least 1 or 2 good questions if anybody has them real quick?
So I just want to say I've worked with all of you guys on the panel at some point, and one thing that I've noticed, seeing you guys come up from the DMV, you've all branched out outside of the DMV. Like Quicksilver said, I've seen him in Miami. I've seen him in North Carolina. I've seen him all over the place. I've seen Jerome Baker in Miami. I've seen him in New York. I've seen him all over the place. I've seen Anwar in Cleveland. I've seen you guys everywhere. So you guys have transcended the DMV. So I think people would benefit understanding how have you guys taken your brand outside of the DMV.
Relationships, just having good relationships, doing good business. Treating people, we're talking about money now, so paying people their value. Also having a product that was so unique that people say, you know what, I want to take you from where you are and bring you here. And because they're like, this is such an outstanding product, come bring it to New York, Miami, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what's worked for me so far.
Well, what I would say as a host, because a lot of times a host is not even needed, right? When you get technical to a party, the DJ is enough. As a host specifically, you got to bring that extra oomph, as well as when you're traveling, and if you get a booking, especially when you're trying to come up and spread your name, you got to reinvest in yourself. That money you just made in DC, put that for the flight, go build your relationship. Your value is there. You believe in yourself like that. When I was traveling 10 years ago to Miami to host, to Atlanta to making nothing or close to cover my hotel and my flight. But I knew that I was going to rock that shit that night. I just know what I bring. And before you know it, now the promoter is impressed. The venues, who was that guy? Who's that? They didn't know the name before. Now they do. And now they're paying the $750, the $1,000, or whatever the number is. And now I'm making a profit because I reinvested in myself. That money I took, that money I got, it wasn't for myself. but it was for myself. I didn't buy things to impress anybody else. If anything, I saved and I put it right back in my brand. Get a new logo, a new photo shoot, just keeping things fresh. And before you know it, your brand is going to speak for you.
So in nightlife, we all know what ebb and flow. So can everybody on the panel talk about how did you recover from your biggest loss? Because it's inevitable in the game. So how do you bounce back from your biggest loss?
You just keep going. I mean, I always say, like, when you're in the club and say that the equipment is all messed up, it's like doing open heart surgery up there and you try not to mess it up, but then when the club goes silent and everybody's looking at you like, you look dumb as right now. Like, that is some of the hardest things to recover. I think the DJs were accustomed to recovering because it's about that. Like, it's about picking that wrong song, looking at that girl at the bar, being thrown off by that, and having to recover from that. It's literally like, girl, or you cut off a girl's favorite song and she's in the middle of her snap and she put her phone down. Oh my God. It'll make you want to throw up in a DJ booth. Like, you really messed up. And so it's all about that recovery. So after a pandemic, again, everybody here has talked about how you just recover. We are built for it. Recovery is nightlife.
I think every event you do, you kind of you project your best case scenarios and you project your worst case scenarios. So I think, like, we were doing New Year's Eve at WEG, and like, all right, cool, we projected 2,000 people. We're killing it. Tickets are moving. I'm like, all right, bet we gonna do 2,000 people. Then boom, Omarion hits the streets, right? And all of a sudden we go from selling 100 tickets a day to 10 tickets a day. And now you start thinking about, all right, cool, you're gonna start taking the L. So we didn't take an L, but in every event you do, you think, if this thing goes bottoms up, how are we going to make sure, how are we going to recover? You know what I'm saying? So you plan your best case scenario and then your worst case scenario. So in everything. And you know, for me, I just keep going, man. Like, I'm built for this. So it is what it is.
Real quick, I'm gonna give you a short answer. And like, I done had so many moments in my life and my career where I always say there's no such thing as a loss. You win or you learn. Everything is a learning experience, right? But I say that to say, and I was just trying to figure, like, do I even want to touch on this? And Flex was like, yo, tell them the X1057 story. And I done had so many times in my life where I've been canceled, I've been counted out, quick as grade, old, quicker. I done had so many moments where people say he's done, right? The moment he's talking about, if anybody's from Baltimore, it was a radio station called X1057. It was only on the air from 2001 to like 2002. That was my first time getting like a real big check for a radio show. It was called Hot Boy Radio. Momo, remember? It was called Hot Boy Radio every night, 6 to 10 p.m. Quicksilver, and then I had my sister Lil Mo on before me. That was my first moment to like get a real check and like really be like, quick made it. Like that was my moment. I was 21 years old at the time, and I remember one of my OGs in the street said, yo, whenever you start making some real money, the first thing you do is go out and buy a house. Because, you know, if you got an apartment, you can pay your rent 1,000 times, but you late one time, it affects your credit. But with a house, you can build equity, blah, 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 blah. So what do? I'm 21 years old. No college degree, barely graduated high school. I go and buy me a house because I finally got this big check coming in. This is so true story. Flex it. I settled, y'all know what closing costs, right? So I settled on my house on Tuesday. Now remember, on Tuesday, I'm the biggest DJ in Baltimore. I got Hammer Jacks on Sunday. I'm on BET 106 in Park. I was a DJ for 6 seasons. So I'm on TV. I'm on radio. I'm killing. 21 years old. Tuesday, I buy this big old house at Owens Mills. If anybody know Owens Mills back in the day, that's like buying a house in Potomac. So I'm 21 years old living in Owens Mills on Tuesday. On Friday, the station flipped formats. I got fired and lost everything because I took all the money I saved to buy this house. I had like 30 grand at the time. I had to put all that money down for closing costs and upfront. So I'm at zero. And I remember the other competing station, they had a whole promo. You know what promos is? They had a promo saying Quicksilver was doing the damn thing. I guess the damn thing is done. So imagine a dude that's like a street dude. Like, I gotta just take that because I'm like they don't want no smoke. These are radio college kids. Like I want to go and be ignorant. So for like a whole week, their whole slogan, because my thing was Hot Boy Radio doing the damn thing the way it's supposed to be done. That was my slogan. Their whole staff, 92Q, doing the damn thing, because there ain't no other damn thing in the city. So they are frying me, and everybody telling me he's done. He's done. This was Quicksilver's moment. He's done. He's canceled. He's done. And maybe it's just me. I get fueled by stuff like that. Like I must tell me I can't do something, and once it's done, I'm gonna look you in the face and say, now nigga, what? So I literally got in my hustle mode, like it's no way I'm gonna let these people win. So to answer your question, whenever I was told I couldn't do something, whenever I told I was canceled, I don't like being #1 for a long time with no competition. I want Malcolm to get hot and think he coming after my spot. I want that. Like I want the smoke. Jerome play with me. I want the smoke. I'm not that. Not with you, Jerome. I love you. He like, quick. What did I do? But for serious, like if y'all know me, I'm very competitive. Like I want the smoke. Like so for me, that's how I keep going. When people count me out and say I couldn't, every time I took an L, it motivated me to come back stronger and better. And every time someone told me I was done, every single time I came back bigger and better. Even down to the last time when I walked away from the morning show and everybody said I was canceled or done, I came back, got a syndicated deal, and they doubled my salary. Am I lying, Baker? I was the first person to be syndicated in Baltimore and DC at the same time. They said the show wouldn't work. 3 years later, I'm on in 10 cities. I get motivated by shit like that. Like, so for me, that's my answer. Tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna make you big mad and piss you off and make millions of dollars winning.
All right, so in the essence of time, I know we got another panel waiting. If we could get everybody's social, where to follow you, where you going to be at next, what's the next party, where can everybody just give them shameless plugs? Yeah, just go down.
Oh, Jerome Baker, 3RD on socials. I'm DJing 1942 tonight. Come hang out.
El Pedro Night. That's ELPEDRO Night with an N. And our platform is Adobo DMV, ADOBO DMV. And our first day party of the year is going to be on Sunday, May 1st at the Bullpen, right down the street from Nats Park. We got a crazy DJ lineup, so yeah, pull up.
I'm Anwar Kong, ANWAAKONG on all social media platforms. And then the brand is Movement or Join the Movement. Which is about MVEMNT, like my hat. Where we at next Saturday? We got a day party in Baltimore. Then next Saturday night we got a reggae party in DC. Cinco de Mayo we doing a big tequila fest, and then the night after that we doing an R&B party with Maya's performing. So you know what I'm saying, check it out.
Thank you. I'm Little Bacon Bear. You can check me out on the airways, 7 to 10 p.m., 6 to 10 p.m., 7 to midnight on social media at Little Bacon Bear. Like the bacon that you eat in the Bear the Wars. Honey. Right, Quick? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That part. I'm just hungry. I'm sorry.
I'm at DJ Quicksilver on everything. I'm on the radio every day, 3 until 7 o'clock. Quicksilver show with Dominique and D. Shout out to my co-host, my sis. I got parties. I don't feel like shit. I got parties literally 7 nights a week everywhere. So just check my Instagram. I post about it. I'll give a couple of shameless plugs of some big parties outside my weeklies in DC. I do a festival called Mocha Fest. We actually have, go to mochafest.com. It's mochafest.com, right? You can see this year alone, I'll be DJing in Greece, Dubai, Jamaica, Cancun, Houston next week, Kenya, Thailand. I think. But you go to mochafest.com, you'll see all the festivals I'm doing. And then last shameless plug, outside of radio, if anybody's walked in, I got 2 TV shows coming out this year. A lot of people know about Love and Marriage DC, me and my wife Ashley. It premieres on, put this in your phone please y'all, Saturday, May 14th, 9 p.m. on Oprah's network OWN. Saturday, 9 p.m. And I'll be on I got a full season, and I already signed for a second season. So it's 12 episodes. So you can see me every Saturday, 9 p.m. on TV on top of radio. But for anybody who walked in, I dropped a bombshell, and I gave you an exclusive bird. So I'm gonna charge you for this tomorrow because nobody knew about this. A lot of people know about the Love and Marriage show because we talk about it on Instagram and the radio. But I have my own docuseries called Who is Quicksilver that just got picked up by Netflix, and it comes out in November. It's gonna really tell about my life and my backstory. Thank y'all so much. So I hope, like no, I thank you, but my whole goal in life at this point, it's not about accolades or awards or money. It's really about inspiring. Like, I'm really a walking testimony of a person who's been through everything bad. I'm a walking testimony of someone who's been canceled, called out, lied, I'm a walking testimony of everything. Like, and when y'all see my docuseries, I said this earlier, but I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna give y'all, and I know we got a rap, but I promise you, I'm gonna give y'all in 30 seconds if I can. 30 seconds, just a little bit of my backstory. So when y'all see the docuseries, y'all gonna be like, I thought I knew Quicksilver. I lost my mom at the age of 10. Got in the street, started selling drugs at 11. Got shot when I was 13, was paralyzed for a year. They told me I wouldn't walk again. Lost my dad at the age of 18. Barely graduated high school. Did not go to college. Lost everything by 21. And now I'm still here with y'all. Like, that's a walking testimony. My stats say I should be dead or in jail, but I'm still here.
I'm just King Flexer, at KINGFLEXXA. You could catch me next in Cincinnati tonight if you guys want to hop a flight. I'll be in Cincinnati hosting, so catch me there. But shout out to the Made in the DMV. Like, it's initiatives like this that's gonna start here and become national and then global. So Bird, we love and respect you. Malcolm X and everybody else involved, we love y'all for real.
So shout out to the panel. Give a hand to everybody here on the panel. We got our next panel coming up. I'm gonna toss it.